variable and things that are fixed. So for instance, they would say materials, whatever they are, variable. Rent is fixed, and so forth, so on, so on, so on. And you literally get into hundreds, if not thousands, of these things. A couple problems with it. First of all, who wants to go through thousands of things? That's let me turn this off. So, most companies don't do this for a number of reasons. So it's tedious, and not only that, the idea, you could definitely make an error in here. For some things, it's obvious, but for some things, it's not. So, what companies will tend to do instead is to take the total costs and separate them out between variable and fixed. So the total costs are usually fairly easy to get, and then you can figure out how much of those are variable and how much of those are fixed. And so this is what we're going to do today. And the method we're going to use is the high-low method. Okay, so this would be page 11, problem 11. This is the high-low method. So the high-low method says, okay, you take the highest and the lowest and separate those out first. So first thing we're going to do is take the high. So the highest here is the 13. So this is the high. Okay, so we have units, 13, and total cost of 115. So that's the high. And then we go and grab the low. All right, so this is the low. All right. Now we are going to take the difference between those. So we're just going to subtract out the lows. So 13 minus 6 is 7. And 115 minus 80 is 35. Okay. So we have a difference of 7 units and a difference in total cost is 35. Now, this difference must be due to variable costs. So if there's a change in the total cost, this is variable and fixed, well, the fixed costs don't change. So if there is a change, it has to be due to variable. So this $35 is a change in variable cost. So it made 7 more units and the change is $35. We can now figure out what the variable cost is per unit by taking 35 and dividing it by the 7. Okay, so like this. Divided by 7 equals 5. So this is the variable cost per unit. Okay. So that will give us our variable cost. Let's make it green. Dark blue. That should be fine. Okay, now to find the fixed cost. Up here, this 115, some of this is variable and some of this is fixed. We're going to find the fixed cost, but we don't know that yet, but we do know the variable. The variable cost, we have 13 units times the $5 each. Give myself a little more space there. We know that each one of those units costs $5, so 13 of them, 13 times 5 equals 65. Okay, so if 65 is variable, question is how much is fixed? What will be the rest of those? Let me mark these for a second here. This is 13. That's the 5. Okay, so the fixed cost will be 115 minus 65. 115 is both variable and fixed. 65 is the variable, so what's left over must be the fixed. So it's kind of like you got to do this one first and then do that one. Now you can actually check your answer though on this because you can do it for the low also. And I should give myself more room here, but we can probably fit it in. Okay. Well, here for 80 we had 6 units. Each one of those units had a variable cost of $5. So 6 times 5 is what, 30? Our fixed will be $80 minus 30 . And you'll notice that these two are the same. They should come out to be the same, which, if they're fixed cost, they should be the same. They're fixed. All right, so let's go through here. So variable and fixed. Oops, you can't see what I'm doing. Variable and fixed minus the variable. These are just the fixed. So $50, and again, that'll be the same as, these two should match up. You can actually check your answers on this. Okay. On that. And again, you ask, do you have to do both of them? You don't have to do both of them, but if you want to, you can. You should come up with the same fixed cost if you do. But you get everything you need from the first one, and you can choose whichever one you want to use. So it's sort of like this. This is step one, is getting the variable cost. Step two is getting the fixed cost. So you can't start out getting the fixed cost. You have to start out getting the variable cost. So variable cost first, fixed cost second. Okay. Same one here. You can pick the high. And the low. And you're going to use those two to see if you can figure out your variable and fixed costs. Sorry, I was still muted there. Okay. Units. Okay.
You want us to turn in the handout today?
Yeah, we're going to finish up. We're going to go through 12 and 13. Then we're going to do the practice test, and then that's it. We're not going to do pages
Okay.
10, 14, 15, and 16. So, and the exam will reflect that. It'll be you'll see it's only three questions.
Okay.
So again, this is step 1. And go on to step 2. This is variable. So this is fixed. So the variable will be 10 units times the cost per unit. So this is the variable cost. Of the 74, 40 was variable, 10 units, $4 each. The fixed cost will be whatever's left over. So we had 74, that was the total, minus the 40, equals 34. And you can check your answer down here. Okay. So put your answer down here. Also put this variable. So this would be 4 units times, and unhappy coincidence, those are the same number. So the 50 is the total cost, variable and fixed. Take out the variable, and you're left with the fixed. Again, those two should be the same because they're fixed. They don't change. Oops, can't see it. Okay, so we know what the variable cost per unit is, and we know what the total fixed costs are. Now coming down here, it says, what if we made 5 toasters? How much would it? If 5 toasters are made, the variable cost would be 5 times the $4. This is and the fixed cost would be 34 would be the total cost. Okay, last problem I'm going to do on this handout, and there actually is one similar to this one on the test. This is actually extra credit points on the test, not on the handout, on the test, extra credit points. So kind of big there. I don't know why I did that. All right. So our variable would be 9 units times 7 equals 63. And our fixed will be, well, 103 is the total. And this is variable and fixed. So if we subtract out the variable, it'll leave us the fixed. 40. Yep. And we can do the same thing for this one. And again, you don't have to do both. But if you do it and you're not sure if you did it right, you can always check your answer. Okay, so this would be 4 times 7 equals 28. And so the fixed would be the 68, which is variable and fixed, minus the variable, equal just the fixed. And again, those two should be, the fixed cost should be the same. The variable cost won't be, they're variable. But the fixed cost should be the same. Oops. Let's see that. Okay. All right, so this is the again, you don't have to do the second one if you don't want to, but you can do it and check your answer. Okay, down here, and the idea is that we get these variable and fixed costs for a reason. And the reason is so we can make decisions. Excuse me. So find the break-even point. This is similar to what we did on pages 4, 5, 6, 7, I believe. No, 3, 4, 5, 6. I think we did number 7. But they are so your sales minus your variable cost minus your fixed cost equals your income. Okay, they told us that the selling price was $15. So again, we don't know how many units yet. So we'll have X equals our units. So we know that each unit sells for 15. Our variable cost is 7. And our fixed cost is 40. And at break even, our income is 0. All right, let me mark this up a little bit. So this is that's that. The 40 is that. And this they gave us. This is solve it for X. So 8x equals 40. Divided by 8. X equals 5 units. And if you want the dollar sales, it would be 5 units times 15. Okay, so that is it for the handout. So on the handout, and I'll make a note of this. So pages we are for the handout that we did pages 1 through 9. Let me check the old packet here. Sure. 1 through 7. 9. So this is the chapter 19 handout, pages 1 through 7, 9, 11, 12, and 13. And I think, Gabby, I'm going to just send you the, you already have the practice exam. I think I'm just going to send you the solutions to it and then also the exam. And the, this, obviously for the exam, you want to have the solutions, but for the practice one, you will. So I'll have a separate drop for the, a separate assignment for the practice exam. But I'll go ahead and send you the solutions. It's similar to what we just did. So I think I don't think there's any problem with it. But I mean, if you do, you can always contact me. So I will send the solutions to the chapter 19 practice. And I'll do that right now. And probably later on tonight, I'll send the chapter 19 exam. So I'll send you the solutions to this so you can check your answers on that. And then I'll send the chapter 19 exam later on. And you have a week to turn those in.
Okay.
All right, so I'll send that out right now. Do you have any questions?
Okay, so the practice exam is due next week, but the handout is due today. And then what about the exam?
All of these are going to be due by next class.
The next class next week? Wait, we have class next week?
I'm not sure. Well, even if we don't have class, we turn them in by next week. Yeah. And so so these will be you can turn in. By the way, I'm not marking. I haven't taken off anything late, so don't worry if you're a little late or something like that. Don't worry about it. I haven't taken off any points for people being late, just because of the kooky quarter or semester we're in. So anyway, yeah, so this will be it'll be due next week. So it'll be, but I'll put the assignments in today so that you can have a place to put those in. And let's go ahead and send out the solutions to it, because it's basically the same things we've been doing. I'm sure you guys can figure it out.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, I will. I'll see if we're doing next week, and I'm not sure. I'll have to look. So okay. Well, maybe I'll see you next week. If I don't, then I'll see you in 2 weeks.
All right.